no estamos muy bien todavía, ¿no? Y digo que no estamos muy bien because la luz está arriba de nosotros. But it looks crispy, bro.
I wouldn't even know, bro. I think everything's fire right now.
You know what the thing is? I've been to like, these type of studios where the niggas, they got that shit on smash.
Yeah.
So I'm like low key comparing it to them. But ya hay alguien conectado ahí. All right. What's up, my people? What's up? Entonces.
I think that little spot right there.
Se cae, loco.
You want to see sideways?
No, you can't. When it's alive.
I left it in the car.
That's okay. Cuando es un live, no se propone así, ¿no? Sorry for the technical difficulties, my people. We're trying to figure this out. So if you notice, none of this is perfect, like literally. So
work with what we have.
Exactly. This is All right. Entonces, so we could both be in the shot. Perfect. We in the shot.
Yes, sir.
All right, my people. We're going live. 6. Am I live? No, not yet. I pressed cancel by mistake. Not live. Perfect. We're live here and stream. Hello. Yo.
1 2 1 2.
Yo. Hello. Let's hope that it's working. All right, so on Instagram, we got people connecting. What's up, my people? As you already know, this is Dr. Ray. I got the brother Ronny Davila here. What's up, Ronny?
Okay.
Tranquilo. Yo, guys, so basically, Ronny's going to introduce himself, my people. Ronny, let these people know who you are, what you do, and a few things about you. You got people saying hello already.
What's going on, everybody? First, my name is Ronny from the Bronx. Trained martial arts. Been doing it since I was 15, 16.
Habla más. Yeah. Feel free to shout.
I'm going to shout then.
Okay. Feel free.
So, I'm from the Bronx. My name is Ronny. I've been training for about, I would say, 14 plus years already. I know Ray through the gym. As far as by myself, I'm a regular person. I don't consider myself nothing crazy. I just love martial arts. I'm a personal trainer. I tend to help people with their goals and hang around great people like Ray that we just striving to help others. And basically, I feel honored to be here. I see the message that he's always spreading. And I asked him, how can I be part of this? And, here I am on a Sunday. I have to put in a good workout in. Me and him, we're chopping it up, exercising. And he asked me here, fed me, got some protein. Y estamos aquí ahora about to chop it up. Talk about some mathematics of the day.
Yeah, man. And basically, my people, there's things that I need to work on that he's strong in. And I want to document his answers, because if you're anything like me, you lean more towards compassion than competition. I'm the type of person who, since I've been working in healthcare for so long, I've always focused on things that have to do with helping people and it kind of makes me feel a little bit weird every once in a while when you have to get physical with somebody. But as some of you already know, I already do it in martial arts training. This is where me and Ronnie met. And it's not too often, unless I'm with martial arts training, that I'm in the presence of somebody that could kick my ass like this brother right here. But it's all good. I'm not embarrassed to say that. But, I have a question for Ronnie, man. Yo, Ronnie, any tips on developing a competitive mindset? I know, before you answer the question, if you could just share with the people, what have you done? How many fights have you had? What's your experience with martial arts? And then, if you could just share with us like some tips on developing that frame of mind.
That mindset. Well, my career has been an up and down. It hasn't been straight and narrow, just like life. And to be competitive with yourself, I think you just have to start with the small habits. Small habits, like taking things one day at a time, getting better 1% a day. Whether it's you know folding your blankets early in the morning, yeah, making out your bed, instead of like eating something that you're not supposed to, replace it with something healthier. Just little things that accumulate to better habits. And the competitive mindset starts there, I think, more than anything. When you're competitive with yourself, like, are you gonna go through with the goals and the commitment, the word that you told yourself, like, you know what, tomorrow I'm gonna do this. Why not start it today? you know if you do it tomorrow, then stick to your word. I think that's where the competition starts. It starts with yourself.
So you're saying like win the competition against yourself before you win the competition against somebody else.
Yeah, because how are you gonna compete against somebody when you can't even control your own actions? Whether it's indulging in alcohol or putting too much sugar in your coffee, little things like that. It could be something macro or micro, So I think the competition is first with yourself, and when you could control your daily habits and have some type of structure, then I think that's where the competitiveness could start with other people, and if you're trying to strive in a specific field, that makes sense.
Yeah, man, it makes perfect sense. I hear a lot of times people say the way you do anything is the way you do everything.
Yeah.
So like I find myself, and it hurts a lot, I'm not gonna lie, because sometimes I'll find myself talking and telling people, hey, you should do this, when I'm not doing it to the full extent.
I think we all have that habit, especially like I remember growing up as a kid. I had my cousin that raised me. He's like a father figure to me, and he will be drinking beers every single day. And as he's drinking a beer, he's telling me, don't drink beers. Like, don't do what I'm doing. And I'm like, but I see you drinking a beer right before you go to sleep every single time you come from work. And it's because sometimes we already know what the answer is. Right. And it's just hard. It's hard to apply it within ourselves. So sometimes the advice that we give others is the advice that we're trying to tell ourselves as well. We just haven't taken like any actions on it.
Yeah, man. If you're watching this and it happens to you as well, which most likely we're not the only ones that it happens to, you have to realize the caveat for you being wise is that you're also doubly accountable for the things that you know. So what that means is if you know you're not supposed to be doing X, Y, Z, but then you still decide to do X, Y, Z, what ends up happening is that the pain that you feel for doing something you weren't supposed to do is probably going to be double or triple that of someone who didn't know any better. So, just to give you guys some context, he's talking about fixing your bed, and right now my bed's not fixed. So when I didn't know about the importance of it, I would just ignore it. But now that he's reminding me and I know about it, it hurts me that much more to even hear about it. That's why sometimes the truth hurts people.
Yeah.
That's why some people get offended when they hear the truth. That's why some people, like for example, if he would have said, yo, whoever doesn't fix their bed is a bitch, I would have been like, That's right.
You would have taken it some type of way.
I would have been nah.
But
But since I'm like the type of person who's always trying to improve himself, I'll be like, damn, that was offensive, but I can't really argue with it because you're right. You know what I mean? Like,
you have to ask yourself, why do I feel the way I feel right now because of this man's word? And usually it's because the shoe fits.
yep, exactly. And if you would have been like, yo, whoever steals is a bitch, I'll be like, well, the hat doesn't fit me, so I don't really wear it, so whatever. But since I didn't fix my bed, like my mentor, he told me one day, like, yo, you're only making $15,000-$20,000 a month. You're fucking broke. You're a bitch. And this comes from a man who makes $2 to $3 million a month. So this is what I mean. So like he'll look at you and be like, yeah, you're in shape, you can fight, but you're only making this much money, so you're a bitch because you're supposed to add on top of that more money. And then you're like, part of you is like, damn, it hurts to hear that because you low key, you're like, yo, I know you're right, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
as you're saying that, I'm like, I'm feeling some type of way. I'm like, God, like I got some fucking work to do here.
But it's just a matter of stepping it up.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like, this is what I found has worked for me. Whereas like you make yourself so uncomfortable that you have to take action.
Yeah.
Like you're like, because no man likes to feel like a bitch. No man likes to look at himself and admit that he's a bitch if he's being honest with himself. So being that you're just so uncomfortable with that feeling, like let's say you're being bullied, right? You're so uncomfortable with the feeling of being bullied that you take matters into your own hands and you start training in martial arts. But then if you extrapolate that feeling, if you're so uncomfortable with any area in your life, like people that are obese, they eventually take matters into their own hands and lose the weight, But when it comes to finances, that's the part where 99% of America is weak,
Yeah. It's ironic you mentioned that about the bullying part because that's what kind of made me make the decision to get into boxing, which is my first love, and then it just led to everything else. But where I'm at in life too, I found myself like, man, especially here in New York, everything is fucking expensive. Inflation is just going up. You feel the pressures. Like I gotta take action, and I don't know what that action is, but you have to do something different to make that money,
right?
And yeah, like what your mentor is saying, like I know it pushed some buttons, but here you are taking some affirmative actions to make it happen, and here you are like that translates to me is like, what the fuck am I doing to fill up my pockets to be comfy? You know what I'm saying?
This is the reason why I don't train every day for numerous hours.
Yeah.
We just came from the park. We were working out, and I was looking at my time. 50 minutes. While this is being recorded, I got the timer going. Why? Because although you're in flow state, although you really want to like do this, what you're doing, there's other things to do first. Like, for example, I really want to compete and I really want to fight in competitions, especially Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu ones. But I understand the preparation that it takes to prepare for those fights and set yourself up for success. You got to train at least 6 to 8 hours per week, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Minimum at least, and not only that, it's like the risk that comes with it too. Like these tournaments, some people live off this shit. You never know who you might be competing, or you might be competing against somebody that's just hungrier than you, and they might snap your arm, and then you can't go to work. You know what I'm saying? So it's like priorities at the end of the day. You gotta prioritize what's important to you, and not to say that you will never compete, but this is just for right now.
Yeah, so that's why I don't know if I'm mistaken, but before I start competing, at least that's my mindset today. It might change tomorrow. But before I start competing in martial arts competitions, I want to have at least $1 million in the bank, bro. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's like, part of me, I'm self-conscious. So I'm like, am I being a bitch? Is this me using it as an excuse? Like, what am I doing? Am I making the right decision? But you know, based on my priorities right now, I think it's the best way to proceed. You know, like do you know? To me, it's like for me, competing is more like an ego thing, like just like a notch. You know how you got trophies and you just got it. To me, that's what I want it for. I want to be able to say I lived that experience. You know, how like some people want to jump off the plane. I want to compete. You know, so but I want to be like ready for. I'd rather be ready financially before I do that.
And not only that, but ready physically too. Because if you're not training properly, then what's the point? And then
Right.
you go in there, get fucked up, and then now you're talking down to yourself. And well, you could have done better if I only prepared better. So I think you know what you're doing. You
Right.
know, and sometimes we all go through our own things. Like I'm going through my own things. I was just telling him earlier, like I think I'm overtraining. You know, I want to compete as well, and I am competing, but I'm in a path right now financially fixing myself, and it takes a lot of sacrifice. And just like how I want to compete, and it takes a lot of time and sacrifice and effort to become a millionaire, like which is also my goal. It takes a lot of fucking sacrifice. What does that mean? Like that means doing things that you don't want to do, reading books, um, educating yourself, spending money to make money, investing in yourself, and and it all comes down to time management. And I think that's like a big factor too of the goals that we have. Time management, which is something that I'm working on right now too, and it's like how you right now thinking like, man, I want to compete, I want to do this, but I got these other projects going on, so it's basically close to impossible. But I hear it in your voice, like you shouldn't be hard on yourself, And then I have that bad habit where I'm hard on myself, and it's like, man, I got all these credentials, but what do I have to show for it? And at the end of the day, that falls on me on the actions I've taken throughout the years, But better late than never on taking actions now to like while I'm young. I'm only 32. There's people that never get it. They never try to organize themselves, fix themselves, and actually take the risk that you are to become the person that you want to be. You're telling me sometimes you're lacking sleep and you're going to train and I'm telling you, there's a better way to do it. You know what I'm saying? Is time management, taking care of yourself and prioritizing. So now like look, here I am giving him advice, and some of this advice I should be taking myself. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we know the answer, but it's like little moments like this where we're working out, we're talking it up, we're chopping it up, and we come up with the answers while we're talking.
But you know what ends up happening is no one's perfect. As this Sunday proceeds, no one is perfect. Not us or not anybody else, but we gotta strive to do as many of the things that we have to do on a day-to-day basis as perfect as possible.
Yeah.
Like, and bro, my fucking up before was like, oh shit, I drank half a bottle of Hennessy VSOP. I smoked like 4 or 5 hookahs, and I ended up penetrating the wrong girl without a condom. A Dominican, like un típico, una vaina. So like I would wake up hungover on a Sunday like today.
What the fuck?
Like what the fuck? Now my fuck ups and is like, oh shit, I ate an apple pie.
That's better. That's better than that.
It's better. So like we're making strides in the right direction.
No te sientas mal. I've been there too. You wake up the next day and you're like, damn. You're trying to connect the dots, and you're like, how the fuck did I end up here?
Exactly.
And
so we're all a work in progress, man. I know we got some people here. Feel free to ask a question just so you guys can know. This is Ronny Davila. Ronny Davila is a athlete. Ronny Davila is a fighter. He is an athlete / fighter who has a lot of experience and has a black belt mindset, as you can tell from his shirt. He has a lot of things to share, my people. And if you have any questions, you want to ask a person who's dedicated a large part of their life to learning martial arts, feel free to ask right here. And yeah, man, as far as money, man, obviously I'm no expert. I'm still learning. But what I would tell you based on my experience is, bro, we just need to become more valuable to the marketplace, and we need to get online.
Yeah.
Get online, my people. Get online, because I'm a medical doctor, bro. But You don't see me talking about like syringes and prescribing medications, because at the end of the day, we're much more effective by reaching more people, right? So the more people you help, the more money you make. And what is the biggest tool known to mankind? It's the internet.
Website.
So we have to get online and provide value with our area of expertise to the people. So let's put it to the test. Ronnie, is there anything that recently has been you need some clarity with, like mindset wise?
Mindset wise, I
By
think
the way, he doesn't have any issues physically, because bro, we was at the fucking park and it's a beautiful day out, and this dude had all the girls just like, you
Hey,
know.
bro, come on.
He had all the fucking girls just like stare. Even dudes were like, "Yo, bro, what do you do? What do you eat?" So
Which is crazy because like he says I'm physically okay. I'm not okay. Like I got two fucked up shoulders,
yeah,
messed up knee, but se le encuentra la vuelta. You
right.
know, we're not in the stone ages where we don't know rehab. We do little things to take care of ourselves. I take care of myself the most that I can, but that doesn't mean I don't try to put in that work. As far as your question, I think what we're talking about right now, prioritizing making money, man, because the times we're living in, things are just, after COVID, you just see. First off, we have to have a strong mindset.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? After COVID, we see that there's a lot of people with issues out there that have basically have lost it, man. And you see that psychological. In the psychological field, like a lot of people are going through it, and they don't know how to deal with stress and this and that. And I deal with constant stress. And that's not physical stress. I'm used to dealing with physical stress as far as exercising, but I'm dealing with worries, anxiety, like financially, how can I make more money, this and that. So I think like more than anything, I think what we're talking about here is like how can we make more money? How can we be more productive with our time? Well, how can we I guess put the most important things first to get there.
Right.
Sometimes I feel like your typical 9 to 5 is one solution, but at the in the era that we're living in, there's so many ways to make money that buys our time back where we could like actually take a fucking nap. Like there's people like I know people that work 7 days a week and they don't take naps, they don't sleep sometime, and it's like, man, what kind of life is that? So for me, like I'm in a place where financially I'm trying to figure it out. Like I'm reading these books, these financial books. I'm getting these mentors. I'm spending money on myself, investing on myself on these courses. And yeah, man. So I think more than anything, it's how to deal with the stress and also finding solutions to our problems.
I got you, man. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but the
Yeah.
reason I'm interrupting because Dan, he's a new EMT starting very soon. He's a 30-year-old male and is worried about keeping healthy and fit.
Congratulations.
Yeah, man. What is the best advice in a rural area, which is like the outskirts of the city, to stay healthy? Well, I'll tell you this, man. As an EMT, you will be sitting down a lot in a rural area. You may not be having a large call volume like I do here in the Bronx. Basically, in New York City, we have a call volume about 4 to 5,500 911 calls per day. That's what some areas of the United States has per year. So what we have in a day, a lot of you guys in the outskirts of Wisconsin, things along those lines have per year. But I just want to tell you, man, use that downtime wisely. And I can answer your question along with what Ronnie was talking about simultaneously. Whether you're trying to improve your health, your finances, look, I'm in the best shape of my life, and I'm complaining because I'm in my ideal body weight. Like I'm 5'8", 5'9", I'm 165 pounds. I'm like basically perfect weight, but I want to reach down to like, want to be like Ronnie, you know what I mean? Basically leaner. But the reason why I bring it up is because I'm about to be 38 years old. I'm very healthy, compared to what I've learned in medical school while becoming a doctor, what I see with people in my age range. And also, my highest grossing month, Ronnie, would you like to be able to learn how to make $23,000 in a month? I made $23,000 in a month, and I've done it in numerous months. It wasn't just one, right? But in business, everything goes up and down.
Yeah.
So what I want to tell you, Dan, who's interested in becoming healthier physically, and what I want to tell you, Ronnie, who wants to become healthier financially, and anybody else who wants to become healthier in their relationships, their nutrition, whatever it is, I say always that the number one way, the easiest way to do it is to find someone who's healthy in what you want to be healthy in and pay them for mentorship.
Yeah.
Because if you get on YouTube trying to figure it out, there's going to be so many different sources that it's going to cause confusion. And because you have confusion, it makes it less probable that you're going to take action. Because it's like, you should do Amazon drop shipping. You should do stocks. You should do real estate. You should fucking be a personal trainer. You should do this. You should do that. And it's like so much information that you're like, yo, where do I start?
It's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. It's kind of like it's kind of like people that want to be fit. Like they're like, yo, should I do CrossFit? Should I do MMA? Should I fucking do this? Should I do that? Do I eat paleo? Do I track my macros? Like what? And then it's like, yo, that's what happened with me with religion, where it was like, yo, who's right? Who's wrong? And it became overwhelming that I was just like, yo, whatever. So the best thing for you to do is find someone who has results in the area doing what you find yourself doing as well. So if I find someone making a lot of money off vending machines, I'm not interested in vending machines. So he could be charging me like, yo, I'm going to teach you how to make mad money off vending machines. But I'm not interested in that. But if you find that person who is making a substantial amount of progress and has undeniable results in the area that you're interested in as well, then find out how you can get around that person. And that's it. So like, if you want to make more money, you can. Now, just to give you some actionable items, based on my opinion, you just got to help more people. That's it. Like, whoever watches this, whoever's watching this, you want to make more money, you got to help more people. That's it. But then it's like, how do I help them? What do I do? It could be something as simple as walking dogs. You know, it could be something as simple as washing somebody's car. But if you're like Ronnie, who's in his early 30s, he has a lot of life experiences and he can help people, especially with his strength, which is fighting and being healthy. So, you know, I would lean more towards like my area of expertise, like, you know.
Yeah, it makes sense. And that's what I'm doing right now, man. The ball is already rolling, but and it's not I'm not saying but as an excuse, but it's just not enough. It's not enough in the sense of where we come from. You know, we try right here. We encontramos la vuelta in New York. We find a way to survive out here. It's just not sufficient. Like, I could become an expert in this and be successful, and I'm gonna be making enough money. But the goals that I have, and like my main goal is to break a generational curse. You know what I'm saying? The generational curse of being mediocre, being poor, and striving to be the best version I could be, not only like physically, but financially, spiritually, mentally. You know what I'm saying? So this is just one aspect of one thing that I got going on. So I hear you on that. And before I forget, on the person that asked the question, like what can you do to be fit? You know, if you do find yourself, you do this a lot too at your job. If you find yourself to have a lot of downtime, no calls are coming in, bust out a bunch of push-ups, test yourself, you know, stretch. You're going to be idle for a long time. Sitting in this position, it locks your hips up. You become stiffer. It's bad for your lower back. So I would say, like, do some mobility work. Google what mobility work is. I mean, you said don't go on YouTube, but if you want to get a sense of a sense, like a general idea of certain things, there's nothing wrong going online and getting a general idea. I think like most people get into this contemplation phase, like where they're contemplating on like, yo, should I do this? Should I do that? And then they start doing their research, and then they start taking actions, and sometimes it's by themselves, but then eventually you do need somebody to guide you because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You're not looking at yourself in the mirror, seeing if you're doing a proper push up, or if you're doing a certain exercise correctly. Like it's like me starting in the stock market and I'm just throwing all the money that I got that I saved up and I don't know what I'm doing and then I lose it. So you definitely need a mentor. You need somebody that knows what they're doing, that's knowledgeable. No un cualquiera tampoco, like not somebody that says, yeah, I could train you. And it's like, okay, what's your experience like? For me, I have a lot of experience through action, and then like a few years ago during COVID, like I got NASM certified and that showed me a little bit more of what I had to learn. And it showed me a lot to learn actually. So that's my recommendation from a man that became an EMT. Again, congratulations. And yeah, man.
Yeah, and I would like to add to that, man. Like back to the thing about the more people you help, the more money you make. You gotta say hello to more people.
Yeah.
Like literally,
you gotta be social.
You gotta be social, bro. And as I say it to you, Ronnie, I say it to myself because sometimes I'll be walking on the street. I'm gonna go buy energy drink, try to stay awake.
I've been telling him, yo, knock
Stop
that shit
drinking
off.
that shit. But I'll find someone smoking cigarettes, and I know I can help them. And it'll be like a person from the projects, a person from places that I'm comfortable with. So I know I can speak to them. It's not like, where there's a language barrier. So like there's nothing stopping me but myself from speaking to them.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean, where I'm doubly accountable. Because I know I can help them. But I don't because I'm being a shy little bitch. So being that I'm a shy little bitch, as per me, like this is what I'll call myself, I get double the consequences, triple, quadruple the consequences of what happens because I know I'm supposed to help them based on what's said in the Bible, based on what's said in the Ten Commandments, based on all the knowledge we receive from God. Yet I decide to say indirectly, hey, God, I'm not going to listen to what you're saying. I'm going to do what my flesh wants me to do. Mm-hmm. And what does my flesh want me to do? My flesh wants me to be shy. My flesh wants me to overeat. And it's like, it's an uncomfortable fucking thing to hear, But at the end of the day, once you word it that way, it helps you, whether I'm right or wrong. You get what I'm saying? Because when it comes to religion, when it comes to politics, when it comes to even chicken, everyone has different opinions. You know what I mean? But for me, like, that's how I catch myself. Like, damn, you didn't help that person, even though you could. You're being selfish. And every time I listen to that inner voice to take action when I know I'm supposed to, I reap the benefits.
I think you're too hard on yourself, man. Like, first off, I think by nature, you're a doctor. You want to help people, but not everybody wants to be helped.
Yeah, so that's true.
You got to remember, like, you might start a conversation with somebody, especially here in New York. Most likely answer is going to be like, mind your fucking business.
Right.
Mind your business. You can't save the world. As I used to be like that. And I'm a timid person. This is my first time doing a podcast. I'm like, yo, how are we gonna do this? I was asking questions. Yeah. Like, I forced myself to get out of my shell. Yeah, my comfort zone. But it's like the dude that came earlier in the park.
He must have thought about that shit for like, just to give you guys some context. We were working out, and a guy came up and started a conversation with us, but before he did that, I'm sure he was double dutched. Yeah. Like, should I go? Should I not? What do you think?
I mean, that person right there, he was looking for guidance. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has some balls to come up to people because, like, at the end of the day, you do have jerkos out here. It's like, yo, I'm trying to get my work out.
Right.
Like yesterday, I had no lie. Yesterday, I was in the park had some kids, man, like a bunch of little kids, Mexicanos. Yeah, you know, they come in a squad, all the primo y todo. And bro, they just wanted to play with my exercise bands. And I'm like, man, I don't got time for this bullshit. But then I had to switch it up. I'm like, yo, I'm being a dick right now. Like, let me just show them how to work out. And it was taking time from my workout, you know what I'm saying? But that man right there, going back to him before I lose my train of thought, he was seeking for advice. That's what I think. And he was seeking for motivation too. And I think you took down his number and stuff like that. And let's see if he goes through, because I've had people like just having a regular conversation, and they'll ask me like, hey, how can I get like you? And they will get so motivated after talking to me and be like, yo, so what are you thinking? We're talking about a person worse than his condition. I'm talking about the guy's obese. We're talking about maybe 250 plus pounds of just no type of muscle mass whatsoever. And he's telling me, mañana yo voy a correr la bicicleta una hora. I'm like, yo, my man, slow down. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then after like that, you know, this isn't a barber shop. He actually gave me his position to get my haircut first. You know, we come in order, so you gotta wait. And after that, I bought him a smoothie, bro, to maybe set the tone for him. Like, yo, here's a smoothie. You told me you like this. I put some kale in there, some greens, and maybe that'll spark something up. I gave him my number. Never heard from him again. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we want to help the world. You know what I'm saying? But not everybody is willing to put the work, and not everybody even wants to be helped. So don't put that kind of pressure on yourself. You know.
But the thing with me is, and I know you're right, bro, because usually the people, hey, babe, te amo. My wife just said hello. Saludo. A lot of people that are supposed to support you, they don't. And it's like, the thing is, we cannot let the majority stop us from helping the minority people who really need it. So the majority of people, they're stuck in their ways. They want to continue to do what they're doing, and they don't want to hear shit. But there's a minority group of people that said in Outwitting the Devil, for like every 98 people who are lost, there's 2 of them who are woke, right? From Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill, there's like, those are the stats, you know? So what I'm trying to say is, like, there's this 1%, 10% of people, whatever, who really need it. But if we're thinking to ourselves, they don't need it before we even approach them, then we could have been that spark in their life. But since we talked ourselves out of it by judging a book by their cover, you see what I'm saying? So you may be right, and I may be wrong. And it's a case-by-case basis, you know? But, like, I was suffering in silence. And I remember there was a time where I was just like, yo, I really want to train in martial arts. I was like 190 pounds, 200 pounds. I really need to lose some weight. I'm smoking hookah. I'm drinking energy drinks. And, like, having a conversation with a brother like you in 2018, I would have, look, man, goosebumps, bro. I would have felt alive, because at that point in time, I was considering suicide. But if you saw me, you probably wouldn't even notice, you know, because, oh, he had a fresh shape up, and you probably don't even, oh, he's a paramedic, you know, he's a paramedic, yeah, he's got to figure it out. We'll find ways to talk ourselves out of what we're supposed to be doing.
I hear you.
We'll find, and then the thing is, what we want is to know that once you get shut down, at least you tried, bro.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I stabbed my hand, you spit on my hand, you bit my hand, you did whatever the fuck, and you still decided not to assume the help. That's on you. You know? And that's one of the things that I catch myself thinking. Like, yes, I know there's a probability that this person doesn't want to listen, but I should have talked to them anyway, because then the conscience is clear. And it's hard for me to, like, for me, it's easier to see the detrimental effects, because I'll go to the projects and we'll find a guy hanging from his belt. Like, we'll find people who overdose. Like, I'm going to work after we sign off from here, And when I see them, I'm like, yo, they were one piece of advice away from changing their life.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So this has to do with money, right? This is what was the fucking initial thing that allowed us to like talk about this. You want to make more money, you got to follow the Bible. And this is new to me, guys. I was the type of person, you'd say words like this, I automatically zone out. I didn't want to hear it because I was like, oh shit, they're going to try to brainwash me. You know what I mean? But bro, what does the Bible say? It says like, yo, help one another. Yo, shout out to Team Ramos. I think, oh, he left already, but he's a boxer as well from Queens. I was in the park and I saw him like sparring with people. Like, yo, I want to spar. Yeah. By the way, boxing was my first love too, man. I started in the PAL, was gonna get in the Golden Gloves, but then the streets got the best of me and I got arrested. But what I wanted to say was, it all goes down. It all boils down back to God, man. And it's hard to accept, but being that I've had this experience, right, where I see people kill themselves, or the after effect of them killing themselves, the after effect of being like, I go to the projects by Randall in Castle Hill.
That's right.
It's like, yeah, I know. It's like, yo, whether you're Dominican, Black, Puerto Rican, no matter who the fuck it is, they're high off fentanyl, they're high off of this, and what it is they didn't have martial arts, or they did have it but didn't want to listen, or they didn't have the person that could help them out of that pain. So it's like, it's so many variables.
Peak game, bro. So, like, I've lived in those projects on and off for most of my life. You know what I'm saying? And I'm lucky enough to say that I found my way to martial arts and it's kept me out of trouble. I've seen kids grow up to be young men that are still young and they decide I'm gonna stick to the streets. And bro, uno le da consejo and you're trying to help them, and then bro, they would come to me sometimes like, hey, I want to start training.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, I'm here anytime when you're ready. Just holler at me. You got my number. And bro, do they put the effort? No. Like I see them in the streets. Like, yo, when you're ready, I'm here, bro. Talk to me. Let's make the time. I'm a busy man. Like I'm opening up my schedule for you.
Right.
You know, and there's only so much you could do. There's only so much you could do. Like you could literally spark something in somebody, but it's up to them to go with that spark. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to accept because there's so many cracks to slip through in those projects and just in general in New York and the Bronx, Brooklyn, wherever you're from, you know? And it's up to you, man. It's up to you. Like, look, like there's been moments that I think about my past 12 years since I was 20 where it's like my soul will talk to me, you know, about certain things that I shouldn't be doing, certain people I shouldn't be hanging out with. And bro, I was just not listening to that intuition, this gut feeling that you get right there. And I resent that to the max. So anytime I get this feeling now, I don't question it. You know what I'm saying? I even try to tap into it sometimes when I'm trying to make a decision, you know, instead of like making a decision based on just pure emotion, whether it's anxiety or something like that. And for years, bro, like I'll open up about it. I used to smoke my brains out, you know, going home at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. after chilling with my boys or whatever, getting munchies, and I'm 24, 25, and then I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Right.
Like, I'm waiting for the 6 train late at night to go back to Castle Hill to then like repeat the process. And bro, like it wasn't until like, I guess, I don't know, you hit a certain point, man. Like it's a breaking point where you go through a few things in life and it checks you straight and it goes back to God. And even when I would find myself like you know, back in the days, bud wasn't legal. So you'll be like in a corner in the staircase smoking like you're a crackhead or something.
Right.
Hoping the cops are not doing their patrol and shit.
Right.
And I would find myself like praying to God, like, I don't want to continue this. As I'm smoking, you know what I'm saying? And yo, to each his own. Like I'm not judgmental. I'm not. If you smoke and you're a productive human being and that's what you do, kudos to you. That's not everybody. For me, it's just it detoured me from my path. It detoured me from like who I am as a person. You know, like I wasn't in sync with my purpose, and I was just drifting, which is something that is in that book that you mentioned. I wouldn't double, and it took a lot, man. It took prayer, it took action, and it took courage, man. Like to take these actions to get back to like the mats, get fucked up all the time. And then also like to reach the level where I'm at now, like where I'm like financially kind of frustrated is like, man, like, well, what the fuck have I done throughout the years that I could even complain? Like, this is my fault at the end of the day,
Right.
And then that's another thing, taking self responsibility.
That's a sign of a real motherfucker, right there.
Sometimes you want to help people like that you're talking about, but they're not even willing to take responsibility on certain things. They don't know what that is, bro. They don't know what it is to be wrong because their ego is so inflated. You know what I'm saying? Or ignorance, whatever you want to call it, a combination of everything. So like I feel you like on all these people like overdosing on fentanyl, this and that. Like I'm just blessed to say like I've never been in the deep hole of like doing a drug like heroin or something like that, which I came close to, back in the days when I lived in Pennsylvania, where it's a big thing out there. And you know, basically like what gets you down this path is like it's the problems you have and the people you're around and the circumstances. And now that this shit is legalized everywhere, like that shit, imagine me like I'm seeing bud everywhere. And bro, I love the sensation of how that makes me feel. Like I got no worries in the world.
Right.
But you need worries. You need worries. You need a little bit of anxiety. Why? Because that's your body. You're so telling you, yo, something ain't right. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
It's a notification.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're supposed to address these things. How do you address it? Through action, which is the most difficult thing to do while you're going through anxiety, depression. Depression, bro, is one of the biggest things that like to deal with and take action because you physically and mentally feel like you're weak. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So going back to what you were saying, as far as like you wanting to help out everybody, you see the people and like, bro, it's hard to say this, but the strong survive and the weak die sometimes, and sometimes like these people that die, they you got to see kind of like the blessing behind it in a sense, not in the sense that like coño, like que pobre, yeah, but it sends a message to the young ones like, yo, this is the route you want to head out, you head down, ¿tú me entiendes?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, like it's a doggy dog world, man, especially where we come from. But it's up to us to take that affirmative action, and it's something that, like, guys, I'm talking about it, but I deal with this shit where it's like, was procrastination, this and that, feeling lazy for the day. I don't feel like doing this. I only have 5 hours of sleep, and yo, you gotta get shit done.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get shit done, even if it's a little bit. Like sometimes, like I've been telling myself I need to journal, and I've journaled throughout the years, maybe let's say from 2020 to now, maybe 8 times. And then I go back to those entries when I'm about to start. I'm like, yeah, I'm still dealing with the same shit. Holy fuck. Imagine if I would have just journaled every other day, or at least once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Once a week, I could have addressed these issues instead of been dealing with it. So, like I got my own problems too. I'm not here trying to, I don't know, like give advice like I know it or anything like that. But I'm just talking from personal experience.
Yeah, I hear you, man. But just to keep it simple, my people, we're all the same. We all have areas of that we want to work on. This brother's a fighter, and he's fighting against himself. A lot of times you're fighting in the ring, you're fighting on the mats, wherever it is that you're fighting. But that other person or that situation is just a representation of who you are. Like a lot of times, what I'm trying to say is like a lot of times I'll find myself making the same mistakes I make in life on the mats. Like I could have done one more call, I could have done one more this, and I could have held out longer.
Yeah.
So we're all the same. Basically, what we're trying to say, we're all striving to be better, but that doesn't give you the right to just get this feel good butterfly in your stomach and think that because of that everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you got to put the work in. And based on what I've seen and what I've noticed, that work should be God's work. Like, keep it simple. You know, it's like I'm learning how to take away the credit that I used to give myself and give the glory to God, bro. And just basically help out one another, make yourself stronger. Because at the end of the day, we're all warriors. You know, well, not all, but a lot of people, they're warriors. And those people that want to die, unfortunately, you got to let them die. And the people that want to survive and they want to become stronger, you got to help them. And the best way to help them is to help yourself. So, like, what I mean is, like, it's easier for someone to pay attention to you when they admire you, like we mentioned, right? And you got to become a person who is worthy of admiration and who is respected. The people who go through something and come out stronger on the other side and have undeniable results with the ultimate goal of using those results and pay them forward. So I just want to leave you guys with this, man. To fix the warrior mindset, to be more competitive, like Ronnie said, you must first win the battle against yourself. And last but not least, if you want to make more money, if you want to improve your health, find someone who's doing that which you want to do at a high level and get around them, whether it's through asking questions, paying them for mentorship, or like helping them with whatever they got going on. And last but not least, man, the best way to be impactful in this world is to help the person next to you.
Yeah.
Or at least make an effort to.
Make an effort. And then going off what you said about, like, the weak die, this and that, don't get it twisted. You might be weak. And if you're listening to this and you feel like, man, yeah, I want to fucking kill myself or I want to die, I think a lot of people go through that shit.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you're not worth saving. Like, there's always a tipping point, I think, of a person that you could bring back, and they'll even surprise themselves. The other day, I forgot this person's name, but he was talking about like how he heard of Jared Gordon. I don't know if you know Jared Gordon. He's a UFC fighter. He used to be a drug addict. He was doing crazy shit back in the day. Shout out to Jared, my boy. And he's in the UFC, and he's doing well for himself. But he was a heroin addict, bro, close to like just close to death, basically.
Right.
And his message now is to help those that struggle with addiction. And that message has reached out so far that there's this other fighter in the UFC that heard his message, and he thought like that his life was just gonna be that drugs, addiction, and he's gonna die a drug addict. Until he heard that message, he didn't even comprehend. He was trying to understand, how can this person, like, he was a drug addict like me, and he's fighting on the top level, the top tiers, and he saved himself because of that message. So if you're hearing this, don't give up on yourself. You have to give yourself a reason for other people to help you too. And then it starts through action. And before I forget, like this shirt right here, Black Belt Mindset, I just wore it to wear today. Usually I just pick out my clothes, but this is actually my boy's brand. He has a school in Brooklyn. If you're in Brooklyn and you feel like you want to change your life, he has a gym down there. He teaches jiu-jitsu, but he mainly teaches you how to get into better shape holistically, how to do it day by day. And it's not an intensive gym like how we go through, like where we're rolling on the mats and we're grinding it out. No, like he has a holistic way. Him and his wife, they will help you out. I'll give my boy the link here so you could put it out there if you're in Brooklyn. And he's been one of my boys for years. He's been on that route himself. I think he'll open up about it too. He don't mind me putting that out there, but he has his own business now, and he's doing pretty well for himself, where he's helping people out. He's helping the community. And yeah, so if you guys are interested in that information, go for it. And last but not least, brother, thank you for having me on your platform, man.
You already know, man.
Yeah.
We'll be back at it soon.
One team, one dream.
That's it, my people. I'll see ya. Time to get back to work. Oh, so that's the alarm.
Take care, my people.
All right, yo.